Hello, my name is Carla and we are here to pick my February TBR. I'm really excited. I have taken a couple of months off of picking books in this format because in December I was just trying to stay afloat and read books for this little series I did, and then that kind of continued into January and I kind of just felt like reading what I had. So we are back. We are excited. My TBR jar is still looking full. I have no duplicated things in here. Every time I've done this, I've taken them out and she's still hefty. I think I'm gonna pick 8 prompts still, as usual. I just need to be aware of my monthly goals. So like I'd love to read 2 Kindle books and 1 classic every month. And now actually my sister just texted me the other day and said, can we do a buddy read every month? So that's another book. So I hope that like Kindle books and classic prompts get chosen so that I can kind of incorporate them into those 8 books, and otherwise I'm just not going to finish my monthly TBR because I can't really read 12 books in a month. Something else is that this year I would love to finish my TBR cart. All of these books have been on here since 2024 or older. And then here's a shelf with all of the books that I bought with gift cards or money for Christmas. So there's also, it's 2 layers deep, by the way. So if nothing on here fits the bill and nothing on my Kindle fits the bill, I will look to this shelf unless I really want to read one. It's my TBR, I get to choose whatever I want. Something else I do is if I pick a prompt and nothing that I own fits it, I will look at the library because I don't necessarily have to own it. Unless it's a book I really, really want to own, then maybe I'll buy something, but that's very rare. So just so you know. So I have my laptop here off screen with my downloaded Kindle books spreadsheet with a little mini synopsis for everything, and my library website in the wings, ready to go, just in case I need it. I think that's all. I'm really excited. I haven't done this in so long. I read a lot of fantasy books in January. If you don't know, go watch my video. I read 5 fantasy books at the beginning of January, which took most of the month. It's just finished last week, actually. So I don't know how into fantasy I will be. So without further ado, prompt number 1. Fairy tale or mythical retelling? A retelling. This is funny because I just read A Sorceress Comes to Call, which is a fairy tale retelling, and it was my first 5-star book of the year. So that's kind of interesting thing. I don't think anything on here right off the bat is, and I don't think anything on there is. This might count, A Dowry of Blood, because I believe that it is about Dracula, but that's not really a mythical retelling. So I'm gonna say no to that one. I think the first book for a retelling is actually going to be on my Kindle, and that is A Song of Achilles, because I do have that on there. Downloaded, ready to go for about 2 years since I got my Kindle. That's probably what I should choose. Okay, the first book is a Kindle book. That is good because, like I said, I'd like to read 2 Kindle books a month, and we got one on lock. I believe The Song of Achilles is kind of a mythical retelling, right? And even if it's not, that's what I'm choosing. Prompt number 2. 3-word title. 3-word title. I already see multiple, and they're all historical fiction. I have The Last Jew. I have The English Patient, The Spanish Doctor, The Fine Print, The Stolen Heir, all of those. The Last Battle. I don't think that's the next one. No, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader is next. Let's move these around. The Final Gambit. I should honestly just read The Final Gambit because I have kind of been dreading it. So I feel like I should choose The Final Gambit. I liked the first book and I was not so excited to go into the second one. Then I read the second one, which is The Hawthorne Legacy, and I liked it even less. So I'm really not excited for this book, but I would like to finish out the series and round it out and then not continue with it. I'm not going to read the add-ons that have come on. I'm going to add The Final Gambit to my TBR for the month. And I think I might read that early on just to get it over with, which is my least favorite way to read because I think it should be for enjoyment, but also I need to finish the series. I can't leave it unfinished. Maybe I'll see if the audiobook is on Spotify or at the library and kind of do a half and half. But that is book number 2. Prompt number 3. I should dig a little bit to these first ones I made. I don't know. Another small one. Sport subplot. Okay, we're looking at like a hockey romance or something of the sort, which I just read the Dixon Rule, which was really good. So I would call that a sport subplot. There is a new one coming out and I don't know when it's coming out and I don't want to own it. I've got these from the library and I'm comfortable with continuing that trend. Wild Eyes, he doesn't play a sport, does he? I really want to read this. No. When does the third, like, Behind the Net series come out? The Wingman came out in September. Let's see if my library has it. I read the first two on my Kindle, but they were free. I don't think I want to buy this and I don't have Kindle Unlimited, so I'm guessing that's where it would be. Okay, so not that one. Let me just go through my want to read and find something at the library that fits that. So let me go to my want to read shelf. I feel like I just put something on here the other day. Collide. Collide by Ball Cobra. Okay, there's 4 holds on 5 copies, so I will potentially get this in time. So I am going to put a request on Collide by Ball Cobra, and I hope that I will get this in February. I'm sure I will. We still have 1 more week of January even, so I feel comfortable doing that. So that will be book number 3. Only 1 physical book so far. That is interesting. I hope people are okay with this thing that I have going. It helps me just read more genres and more things that I don't own and not have to buy books all the time, as much as I'd love to grow my library. Number 4. Hard to open. A short story. Okay, I have a lot of short stories on my Kindle, so this is going to be a Kindle book, another non-physical book added to the list for this tall pile of 1, but that means there are 2 Kindle books on my list for sure, which is good. That makes it easier to read all of these. If I sort columns from A to Z, I have a short story column. Okay, I can read Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez, The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren. So those 2 are like these mini meet cute stories that came out recently. Natural Selection by Ellen Hildebrand. I think I would like to read that in the summer. The Answer is No by Frederick Bachman, or Tiger Chair by Max Brooks. I'm right away going to say it's going to be one of the first 2 because February is Valentine's Day, and I actually see that this Christina Lauren one, The Exception to the Rule, is a Valentine's Day yearly tradition. That kind of feels like the book I have to read. So we're going to read The Exception to the Rule, which is number 4. Let's pick number 5. Food or drink on the cover. Interesting. This has a lot of little cartoons on it. Love in Other Words has a coffee. Most of these are just basic things. This might be my only option, which is fine. I think I would like to read this book. Okay, you're going to read Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. I've said it in past videos that this book kind of makes me nervous because I've read 1 book by them and I DNF'd it pretty early. I was at this used bookstore in town and I was looking at the cover and a girl there was like, that's my favorite book by them. So I know that it's pretty popular. I hope that that is earned popularity and that I'm going to enjoy this, but this will be book number 5. Prompt number 6 already. Okay, number 6. A Canadian author. Okay, like I said, I just read the Second Campus Diaries book and Elle Kennedy is a Canadian author, so that's really cool. You know who else is a Canadian author? Someone on my other books. I don't think any of these people are, so it's okay. Where's Lauren Asher from? Doesn't say, but this book was hard to get in Canada, so I'm gonna say she's not Canadian. Just gonna guess that. One of these might be. I'm really hoping they're not because I know what I want to read. Shoot! Ontario. This author's from Ontario. Not shoot. I really wanted to read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. Sri Lanka, came to Canada in 1962 and lives in Toronto. I just said Toronto like a not Canadian. Nope. Kinful, it's not. Stephanie Garber's from California. Southern. So we are going to read The Spanish Doctor by Matt Cohen with this $1.99 sale price tag on it. Oh, it's small writing. That's okay. That's okay. Canadian author. What is this about? 15th century Spain. Jewish persecution. I'm not going to read further than that. I'd like to be surprised. I do like historical fiction. I used to love it a lot more. Now I kind of want to escape the seriousness of the world, but it's still good to mix them in here and there. So that will be book number 6. Yeah, 6. So prompt number 7 is has the largest print. All right, I get to choose any of these with the largest print. That's kind of fun. I literally just took them all out and looked at them, and I don't know what that looked like. Let's just go through. I know it's not Chronicles of Narnia. She's small. I really want to read one of those books soon again, but that's okay. I'll put it to the side for now. Okay, The Natural's kind of large, which sucks because I already have a Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Lady Midnight, I can't read yet. I have to read The City of Heavenly Fire first, which is about the same. So currently this is in the lead. I'd also like to get it over with. Look at this chunker. Beautiful Darkness. No. Once Upon a Broken Heart? No, not quite as big. No, that's even smaller. That is teeny tiny. I'm glad that's not the biggest. That is tiny writing. The fine print. No, it's about half the size. Party World? No. Between Us? Definitely not. All right, so book number 7 is this brick, City of Heavenly Fire, which, you know what, I'm more than happy to. I really wanted to finish the series last year. I read the first few books in high school, and then the last one that I just read, book 5, I hadn't read yet. So this is brand new to me. I am not loving them as much as I did as a teenager, which is fine. Like, things change. I'm not hating it. It's just kind of been a drag to get through, and I'm actually questioning some of her plot choices sometimes. But let's keep going with this series. Let's get that off the table and make that book number 7. Okay, one more book. Oh, I guess I could have seen if a classic would have bigger writing, though I really doubt it. The only one maybe is this Tom Sawyer because it's a reprint. That is tiny. Okay. Last prompt. Let's make it a good one. Mix these up. They're not moving at all, are they? Last prompt is set in biblical times. Set in biblical times. I might have to do another library book. The Evening and the Morning is Viking, so that's definitely not. The Last Jute, I think, is the same as The Spanish Doctor. It's more like 1500s. I don't think I own anything. I think this is going to be, I'll go quickly through my Kindle books, but I think this is going to be a library book. Unless there's something here. The Lost World, Jurassic Park, is that biblical times? No. That actually looks really interesting. 14th century. So my favorite, the only books I've read that are fiction in biblical times is Francine River books. And it's like A Voice in the Wind and these books, and I love them. So I'm actually curious if she has more books set kind of around the same time. A Lineage of Grace, I believe. It's about Rahab in the Bible. It's a compilation of 5 novellas. That's interesting. So not at my library, so I'll find something else. I just don't want it to be like Christian fiction in the way that some books are. Like, her books are not told in a Christian fiction way. They're told in a fiction way that takes place in biblical times. And I would love to find that in another book. What is the red tent? Her name is Dinah. In the Bible, her life is only hinted at in a brief and violent detour within the more familiar chapters of the book of Genesis that are about her father Jacob and his dozen sons. Told in Dinah's voice, this novel reveals the traditions and turmoils of ancient womanhood. It begins with the story of her mothers, the 4 wives of Jacob. They love Dinah and give her gifts that sustain her through a hardworking youth. Okay, let's see if they have that. That sounds really good. I think that will come in time if I place a hold. Otherwise, I can always get the ebook on my iPad. So the last book is The Red Tent by Anita Diamant. All right, those are the 8 books. 4 physical books, which is good to get 4 off my cart. And what did I say? 2 Kindle books and 2 library books. I am happy with that. I am more than happy with that. Thanks for watching. I hope you come back in March for the next one. And we will get more off of this cart and hopefully read some that I'm actually really excited to read. And we'll see what my sister chooses for a February buddy read. I think that's really exciting too. Oh, there also isn't a classic on this list. So with these 8 books plus a classic plus a buddy read, that is hopefully 10 books that I read in the month, which is kind of heavy for me. I'm usually closer to 8 total, but there's a novella, so that helps. And the rest of these are not short, but we will see how it goes. Until next time.